Hello NCAC sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of The Rundown. On this week's show, we'll provide a brief preview of the 7 NCAC teams that will be competing in the NCAA Tournament in 4 different sports this week. In field hockey, DePaul edged 2015 league champion Kenyon by a 1-0 margin in a sudden victory shootout in the NCAC tournament title game to earn its 5th appearance all-time in the national tournament. The Tigers will now travel to Memphis, Tennessee on Wednesday, November 12th for their first-round matchup against Rhodes College. The two squads did square off earlier this season, with the Lynx securing a 4-1 victory over DPU in Greencastle. The winner between the Tigers and the Lynx will travel to New Jersey on Saturday to take on second-round host and second-ranked TCNJ with a trip to the quarterfinals on the line. And in volleyball action, Wittenberg successfully won its 9th straight NCAC volleyball tournament last weekend to qualify for the national tournament for the 20th year in a row. The Tigers, who entered the tournament ranked 5th in the nation on the AVCA poll, will travel to Huntington, Pennsylvania to compete at the Juniata Regional. Wittenberg opens play in the regional tournament on Friday afternoon with a 3 p.m. match against Bluffton. The winner is set to take on either Heidelberg or McDaniel on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. The other half of the Juniata regional bracket includes opening round matches that feature Juniata vs. Franciscan and Case vs. Mary Washington. The regional championship match is scheduled for Sunday at 2 p.m., with the winner advancing to the 8-team national tournament that will be hosted by Calvin College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, November 19th through the 21st. Next, we move on to women's soccer, where the NCAC had 2 teams qualify for the NCAA tournament for the 2nd year in a row and the 13th time in history. DePaul earned the NCAC's AQ into the 64-team field after topping Denison 2-0 in the NCAC tournament title game, while the Big Red earned one of the 20 at-large bids into the national tournament after ending the season with a 15-4-0 record. The Tigers will travel to Grand Rapids, Michigan for its first-round contest against Wisconsin Oshkosh on Friday at 1:30 p.m., with the winner set to face either host Calvin or the Milwaukee School of Engineering in the second round on Saturday at 1 p.m. The Big Red, who will host a first and second round pod in Granville for the first time since 2010, are set to take on DeSales in the first round on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. The winner will then take on either WashU or York in the second round on Sunday at 1 p.m. in Granville. And finally, in men's soccer, the NCAC will be sending 3 teams to the Big Dance for the 2nd time in 3 years and the 6th time in league history. 2015 NCAC champion Kenyon earned the league's AQ into the 61-team field for the 2nd year in a row after pulling out a dramatic 3-2 victory over Ohio Wesleyan in the NCAC tournament title game. The Lords will be joined in the national tournament by at-large selections DePaul and Ohio Wesleyan. Kenyon will play host to a first and second round pod for the 2nd year in a row and will entertain Westminster, Pennsylvania in the opening round on Saturday at 11 a.m. The winner is then set to take on either Chicago or Thomas More on Sunday at 1 p.m. in Gambier. Ohio Wesleyan, which is making its NCAA record 38th appearance in the Division III tournament, also earned the right to host on the opening weekend and will take on the Milwaukee School of Engineering on Friday night at 5 p.m., with the winner moving on to the second round to square off against either Calvin or Mount Aloysius on Saturday at 5 p.m. in Delaware. And finally, the DePaul Tigers will be making their first trip back to the national tournament since 2012 and will hit the road to St. Louis for their opening round contest against Westminster, Missouri on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the campus of Wash U. The winner will then take on either the host Bears or Millsaps in the second round on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, with a trip to the sectional round on the line. And fans for both the men's and women's soccer tournaments, second round winners will advance to a 4-team sectional tournament to be held on November 20th through the 22nd on a campus of one of the competing schools. Sectional tournament winners will then advance to the semifinals and possible championship match set for December 4th and 5th at the Swope Soccer Village in Kansas City, Missouri. And as always, NCAC sports fans, for up-to-date news, stats, and standings from around the North Coast Athletic Conference, you can visit our website at www.northcoast.org. Also be sure to follow us on Twitter at NCAC, as well as like us on Facebook. Well, that puts a wrap on this week's show, but be sure to join us again next week for another edition of The Rundown.